Thanks for tuning in to The Real Deal Show, brought to you by eBodyBoarding.com and Tribe Boards.
Hey folks, Jay Reale with The Real Deal Show on location at magnificent Tavi Island Resort. And I have a friend with me who I've known probably for 40 years, and he really doesn't want to be here doing this show, but I made him do it. Scott Weiner, what's happening, buddy?
Yep, good to see you.
How are you, Scott? Good. Right on. So if you have never heard the name Scott Weiner, you're probably younger and haven't read BodyBoarding Magazine. But this guy was around during the early stages of BodyBoarding Magazine. But let's go back a little bit before that. Tell us about like where you grew up. Where'd you grow up?
Oh, I grew up in Northridge in the Valley,
okay,
to be honest.
All right.
And then when I was a teenager, 12, 13, I moved to Laguna Niguel.
Okay.
So that's when I was kind of introduced. I used to bodyboard Zuma Beach when I was a little kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you drove from Northridge to Zuma?
To the Valley, yeah.
Yep.
And then moved to Laguna Niguel and started bodyboarding Salt Creek and went to high school there in Dana Point.
You went to Dana Hills High School?
Yeah.
So did you have friends that you met when you moved to Laguna Niguel that got you into bodyboarding?
No.
Or you were into it up when you lived in Northridge, but
yeah,
did you meet friends in Laguna Niguel that shared your interest?
Yeah, there was a group of us, Paul Groseveld and
Yep.
my stepbrother Kevin Glick, and there was just a small clique of us. We were the only ones that used to bodyboard.
Yep.
At Salt Creek. There would be all the surfers there, down there,
right,
surfing, and we were just like maybe 5 or 6 of us.
And that was in the era of like Snack Bar Hank and Flame,
yeah.
Larry Moore.
Early 80s.
Right. So Larry Moore was the photo editor of Surfing Magazine.
Yeah.
And so you're bodyboarding, you're a Grom, you're a Dana Hills High student. Did you ever have any desire to compete or anything, or you just was for fun, bodyboarding for
just
fun?
Fun for body, yeah.
Yeah.
Bodyboarding for fun.
So, when I met you, I moved to California in 87. You were kind of a Laguna guy by that point. You would hit the beaches in Laguna, specifically 10th Street. Yeah. How did that transition happen from Creek to 10th?
Oh, well, I think Creek was mostly, I don't really remember how I transitioned to 10th Street.
Yeah.
It might have been a few guys I met, and we went down to 10th Street and we ended up being the oven crew, and there wasn't many people bodyboarding at 10th. I think we were like the first ones as far as I can recall.
Okay.
And so I think the Creek days was just
it was just like a blip in your bodyboarding history, and then you moved to Laguna, probably maybe because there's no crowds, right? You said you were kind of the first crew down there at 10th Street. And so were you working? Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, man, because that's a well-known bodyboarding spot now. So were you, so now you're in high school, are you working during the summers at all, or are you just spending your whole day at the beach?
No, your pizza place, Lamppost Pizza.
Yeah.
And probably started shooting. I went in high school in my senior year. I got a camera.
Yep.
And I went on this trip to Baja.
Okay.
And I came back with, we had a little party where afterward everybody shared their photos.
Yeah.
And everybody looked at my photos and said, wow, yours are so much better than everybody else's. For whatever reason, just my composition, whatever it was.
Oh, wow.
And I said, oh, that's nice. And so I guess I had an eye for photography.
Yeah.
And then it was just going down to Salt Creek a lot. And Flame was always down there with the Gravels guys.
Yeah.
And I'd go out there with my yellow 110 Instamatic.
Yeah, was it a Minolta?
Yeah, the Minolta one, I remember the waterproof ones.
Uh-huh.
And I'd follow Flame around just like a little puppy dog and be behind him, and he's shooting all the guys, and he kind of just said, if you want to do this, you should get a water housing, Mark Togweiler back in the day, and
so he started mentoring you when he saw you out there with some interest in water shots.
100%, like he did mentor so many people.
Yep.
And so I got the water housing, and then I'd go to Aliso with my bodyboarding crew, or I'd still shoot at Creek with Paul Groseveld, just my good friends.
Paul, the double knee ride king.
Yeah.
I remember that about Paul.
Yeah.
Double knee ride photos in the magazine.
And his brother, Ray Groseveld, who was a knee boarder.
Oh, yeah.
And so then it was Tom Prince and Tony Carvalho. And
I remember Tony.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a name from the past.
So we'd go from Creek to Aliso and shoot Aliso.
Okay.
From what I can remember. But 10th Street was evolved. The shooting down there was, I don't know, probably a few years later.
Yeah. But you would hang there all day with a group of guys playing beach volleyball and bodyboarding, like the whole summer.
Yeah. I think it was more bodyboarding at the beginning.
Okay.
And then we started to do volleyball after that.
Yeah. And because you have a lot of downtime between sessions, and you're like, oh, okay, let's do something. Let's play volleyball. Well, that's cool.
So that was how that kind of...
Was that your early 20s by now? We're getting into your early 20s?
I'd have to count, but early 20s.
And you were working at I think you were working at a restaurant in Laguna, Te Amo? Was that
Te Amo. I think that was even afterward.
Oh, after. Okay.
I was interning at Surfing Magazine.
Okay.
And so I was interning for Flame and Peter Brullier.
Yeah.
Doing bodyboarding. So it was kind of like evolving into working for the magazines. But I was just, before I was interning, I'd just go there as a grom and... Yeah,
and just hang out to absorb all the cool photo vibe there.
Yeah, and always be getting critiques from Flame and Peter about how to get better at
lighting and exposure.
Yeah.
And so you know, Bodyboarding Magazine fired up in '85. How much involvement did you have with bodyboarding versus surfing, or were you just totally involved with both when you were doing the intern stuff?
Yeah, I mean, bodyboarding was probably 4 issues a year, maybe, as it started.
Initially,
Yeah, so I was mostly with Flame in surfing. And of course, the bodyboarding office was right next door, the door.
Yeah.
So,
and who was the editor at that point? Was it Bill Sharp initially?
Well, for surfing.
But
I don't know who was the editor. Gosh, we went through so many.
Sam George, maybe.
For
the
bodyboarding,
very beginning.
I don't even know if it was Eric Fairbanks. But so I'd pop in, do a little bit for Peter Reale and then Flame, and just kind of started getting weaned off the surfing and over to bodyboarding. I can't even recall how everything transitioned, because eventually I was assisting for Peter, but then he went out, and then I was the photo editor of bodyboarding. Yeah,
so what did your job entail once you became photo editor? Explain, to people who might not, what does a photo editor do?
Oh, I mean, all the images come in from the photographers.
Yep.
And
on slides,
and then we just kind of manage them and categorize them and look for the best ones. And of course, the editor would kind of say the magazine was going to be about, Hawaii, the Hawaii season, or a little California blip, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so we'd gather all the images and get photographers, hey, we need these images to fit for the story.
Yeah.
And I don't really recall the details of it.
Here's an important question. Okay, as a pro bodyboarder, a bunch of us lived in Southern California. Yeah. Did anyone ever try to influence you, friends of yours, like, hey bro, post a photo of me in the mag, bro, you know what I mean, that kind of thing? Did that ever happen?
I don't think that happened very often.
That's good, because that job is ripe for that kind of, hey man, hook me up, bro,
my sponsor.
Right.
I mean, that I think all came from the ad department.
Oh yeah,
because the ad department guys would come in and say, who's going to be on the cover?
Oh yeah.
Oh, whatever the...
Sure.
And so it didn't sway us. The best shot won.
Yeah. Good.
And even when it was my shot with Mike Stewart dropping in on the cover, it was the best shot wins. It wasn't me trying to go have my picture on the cover or whatever.
Where was that shot taken, by the way?
Yeah, Cloudbreak.
Cloudbreak. Oh, okay.
Both covers were at Cloudbreak.
So that was his first trip here.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
95, 96.
So, you mentioned the ad guys would come in and say, who did you pick for the cover? Because, on the back end of things, let's say a Maury team rider was on the cover, that would then give them ammunition to go, you need to run like a double page spread because your dude's on the cover. You want to capitalize on that. So, there was a little that behind the scenes wrangling that went down.
But I think with the photo editor, we never got involved in that. It was...
Sure. That's good. And you shouldn't, really, because, you don't want to be, have that outside influence on that gig.
No.
So you did that for how many years working for the magazine? Was it until it ended?
Well, until Flame got sick.
Oh, yeah.
So... it was still surfing and bodyboarding. I can't even recall if bodyboarding went away before. But I was surfing till I think 2001 or 2002.
Right. Yep.
So it was 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
More or less in surfing, bodyboarding, in between both of those.
Right.
Yeah.
So you then after that sort of ended, you still continued to take pictures. Was it just surfing, or was it landscape, scenery? Did you
mean after Surfing Mag ended?
Yeah, after you stopped being involved in the magazine.
Yeah, I think that's when I kind of had found the niche with Tavarua, just shooting, coming down with groups and shooting the guests that came here.
Yeah, and by the way, I should mention, all the photos that we post, Scott comes down with our group, and he takes amazing shots. You can follow him on Instagram at Fiji Chili. Yeah. That's CHILI.
It looks like Fiji Chill, but it's not Fiji Chill. It's Fiji Chili.
CHILI.
Because I like chilies and spicy food. That's right. It. It's not that I'm that chill.
That's the rumor. I've heard.
Chilies.
Yeah. So if you ever come down here, bring some. Or if you see Scott around anywhere, bring chilies. But so Scott, you've been here many times to Fiji. You actually have made books with some photos you've taken down here. You have one out already, right?
Yeah, the first book was just a Tavarua book of all the beautiful things in Tavarua, just for all the years I spent here.
Yep.
And that one sold out.
It's amazing.
It took about 10 years to go through all the books, but all the guests that come here love the book.
Oh yeah. How could you? I mean, look at this, folks. Can you see this behind us? I know you can see the bushes, but look at that ocean, man. It's like crystal blue. This is paradise. So, so you're working on another one.
Yeah, another one. I was during the pandemic, or whatever you might want to call it, I was stuck in Fiji for about 2 years.
Crimea River, folks.
And all around Fiji, or just mostly in this Mamanuthas, in this zone, and some time on Tavarua. So I made a new book of just the 2 years I was here alone, of just mostly a lot of drone stuff. Because it was so quiet, just beautiful scenic shots, and the fortunate few that got some incredible waves. There's a few pictures of them in there, but mostly it's just beautiful, quiet Fiji.
Are you going to have an interesting title for the book, like Marooned in Paradise or something cool like that?
We had Marooned, but we got rid of that. It's just called A Quiet Time in Fiji.
Okay.
Which is pretty, and it's in Fijian, the title.
Got it.
Don't ask me to
recite that.
Yeah. But it's a quiet time in Fiji, just what it was.
Yeah, I love it.
Very few people around, and just a beauty book.
Well, it seems like you've carved out a pretty good existence for yourself. I know you have 2 kids. They're both back in California. Yeah. Sydney and Russell. Russell's a surfer, bodyboarder? Bodyboarder.
Yeah.
So he followed in your footsteps.
Yeah.
And Sydney, surfer, bodyboarder?
Yeah,
kind of dabbles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long board, soft top, cruisy. Just
for fun. She's not like, I got to be in the water every day kind of person. No. Got it. Now, what about you? You still bodyboarding occasionally?
I'm still bodyboarding. I did a lot when I was here by myself, more or less. So that was a good resurgence.
Solo session.
Because usually when I'm in Fiji, I'm just busy shooting photos of people and stuff like that. So there's no time to bodyboard.
Yeah, right. You're busy.
I really enjoyed my low tide sessions out front here, restaurants
and I will say, when we come and Scott comes with our group, he's so dedicated. My 5th time here in Tavarua, I don't think I've ever seen you bodyboarding, because he's always working, so amazing photographer. But you mentioned your kids. Have they come down here with you?
They did before, when they were younger. They would spend the summers down here with me. Yeah,
awesome.
July and August. And, bunking up with me and just hanging with the Fijians, which is what they love to do, is more than anything is just hang with the Fijians.
Oh, that's
Fijian
cool.
People.
Right on. And these people here are so amazing. They're the friendliest people ever.
That would be a better interview than myself.
We might try to figure one out there. But I'm so stoked to hear you've carved out a great existence, still indulging your passion for photography.
Yeah,
obviously, when you're here, this is the most picturesque place to many people. This would be just perfect paradise. So we look forward to that next book coming out whenever it comes out.
Yeah, another month or 2.
Okay.
Middle of April.
So look. So we can Google Scott Weiner Fiji book maybe, and we'll find it right when it comes out. Yeah. So moving forward, just future for Scott Weiner? Do you have a plan where you're going to ride off into the sunset somewhere other than here or California where you're based?
I'm trying not to be in California, but maybe in the Costa Brava in Spain where my brother lives part-time.
Yeah.
Kind of, I like quiet, which is Fiji's quiet.
Sure.
And just kind of retire.
Slower paced. You want a slower paced life.
Yeah, maybe somewhere in Fiji. Just depends.
Got it. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a last question here, bodyboarding related. Worst wipeout you've personally ever had? Like, it doesn't have to be you got held under. It could be you hit the reef or got cut up. Do you have one?
Oh, I think it was just the story of me at Cloudbreak, probably in 95.
Okay. Wow.
No, not 95.
27
I'm sorry,
years ago.
it was 87, my first time here.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I went out to Cloudbreak. I was 20 years old or whatever, and Cloudbreak, I don't know, back then it looked like it was big. It was probably maybe 8 or 10 foot faces. But the Fijian, they just drop you out there. I went out with another surfer, and I felt like I was still a Grom. I never surfed reefs, and I got caught inside at shish kebabs.
Oh,
and this wave was coming in, and I'm like, should I go further out? Should I go?
Yeah, or wait.
You get stuck, and it just annihilated me. And I was caught inside, and I'm waving for the guy in the boat, and he's already like sleeping in the boat in the board bag. He's not paying attention to me. There's no lifeguards back then.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is 87. And I was pretty much like screaming for help, but nobody paid attention to me. And of course, it calmed down. I was able to get through, but it was just the panic. You're by yourself.
Now, did you hit the bottom, get cut, or were you just held under longer than you really wanted to be?
And just like by myself, and just scared as a kid.
Yeah, well, it's funny because that year we came with Mike Stewart, and you came with us on that version of our Tavi Tube Tour. The same thing happened to me. You maybe don't remember, but it was a good-sized day at Cloudbreak for me, and my comfort zone as I've gotten older has decreased in terms of size. So same thing. I was at shish kebabs, paddling out, a wave about to break, and I was doing the same math as you. Should I wait and let it break, or should I try to get under it? And I chose to try to get under it. And the lip detonated on my head. Both fins off, wedding ring gone, leash between the legs, and I couldn't swim because my fins were off and my leash is between my legs, and another one's coming. And Trevor Isbell, who was working on the jet ski here, came and scooped me out of danger. But I totally identified with that story. I almost had post-traumatic stress when you told me that
there's
story.
There's nobody there to save me. It's by myself. And
my God. So that happens here. That's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, that's it. I put you in the hot seat long enough, dude. Thank you so much, man. And we'll look out for that
guys
book.
Down here.
Yeah, we're stoked to be here, and hopefully every time we come back, we can have Scott with us because he's an amazing photographer, has an awesome personality, and I couldn't imagine any other photographer being here with us. I've known this guy for like 40 years, so stoked to have you on. And that'll do it for this episode of The Real Deal Show. Give us the thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to our channel. If you listened on the audio podcast, hope you enjoyed your workout or whatever it was that you were doing during that time. And as always, folks, see you in the surf.
Mode.